So, if you of you are wondering how we're going to do this story, so here's the thing: President Trump just released UFO files, and everyone is talking about it. We're going to dive into that story now. I posted something earlier today saying that this story will be fluid. I'm not going to give it a time limit. I'm going to let you guys let me know in the chat what you think of this story. You're going to determine how long we spend on this story. So I'm going to give you a free hand. All right. Now, the next story that I've lined up are several. Now, this is a two-parter. One is the Virginia Supreme Court just struck down the new Virginia map. You know, the map that Governor Spanberger essentially said she wasn't going to redraw. Well, she redrew that map, and then now the Virginia State Supreme Court has struck it down, deeming it against the law of Virginia. So everyone is freaking out, including everyone from Barack Obama and Hakeem Jeffries, who essentially boasted that they were going to do it. And then we're going to look at the leftists melting down as per usual. Then ABC is protesting because The View has been canceled by the FCC. So we're going to be, sorry, is it the FCC? Sorry, I hope I'm not mixing up my terms. Yeah, it's the FCC. So let's dive into the first story now. As usual, guys, let's know your thoughts in the chat. And remember that you're part of the news. Okay, your comments will be read. We're going to do our best to give you a fair shake. Let's know your thoughts in the comments. And remember, type H at the beginning of the comment if you want us to hide your comments or not bring it up on the screen while we're responding to it. Okay. Now, where was I? So don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it. Now, here's the breaking news. The Trump administration releases the first batch of UFO files. Let's have a listen to this report.
Fox News alert: the Trump administration releasing the first batch of files related to UFOs and alien life.
So is the truth really out there?
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us live with the details. What have you learned, Peter?
Good morning. So a White House official left this hard drive on my desk overnight. You can see on it, it says AARO files copy 2 of 3. That is the all domain resolution office copy 2 of 3. This is the first big batch of UFO disclosure ordered by President Trump. Some of the clips and videos on there have popped up different places before. Some of them have not. And we have been going through this all morning and overnight to try to put together some of the best videos so we can all look at this together. This is a world exclusive right here. So let's go to the first clip.
Really?
Over the skies of the United Arab Emirates in June 2024. An inverted teardrop with a vertically linear trailing mass, as described by the War Department, suspended below. The War Department cannot say for sure what this is. It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. The next video, over the skies of Iraq, December 2022, moving bottom left to top right of the field of view. All CENTCOM gets from this is an area of contrast. That's what they describe it as. It is officially still listed as an unresolved UAP report. Next video, over the skies of Greece, October 2023. What is described as a small and circular UAP flying near the surface of the ocean towards land. CENTCOM can't tell us what it is. It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. Within the last 2 minutes, all of these videos have gone live on war.gov/UFO, and a White House official tells Fox First, while past administrations sought to discredit or dissuade the American people, President Trump is focused on providing maximum transparency to the public, who can ultimately make up their own minds about the information contained in these files.
Right, so let me just keep posting the your thoughts in the chat about what you think this is. Okay, remember, like the video, share the video, but most importantly, let's know your thoughts in the chat.
And there's also a fresh look at some historical records. There's this from Apollo 17 included in this big document dump. One of the astronauts says, we've got a few very bright particles or fragments or something that go drifting by as we maneuver. The control center says, Roger, understood. Another astronaut says, there's a whole bunch of big ones on my window down there, just bright. It looks like the 4th of July out of Ron's window. Another astronaut says, yes, now you can see some of them in shape. They're very jagged, angular fragments that are tumbling. This exchange has long been dismissed as floating insulation. But now the White House is saying, while this photo has been previously released and discussed by keen observers, there is no consensus about the nature of the anomaly. And this all started, of course, because we asked the president about it in February.
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know,
So aliens are real.
well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. Well, he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it.
So the government is trying to answer the question.
So is Trump saying that now he's declassifying this information? If Obama gave classified information, what is this that we're seeing?
Do aliens exist? And the answer is they don't know, but in an effort of transparency, they are giving us all of the material that they are working with as they try to answer that question.
All right.
To you.
Peter, so many questions. The internet has been ablaze about this for a long time. And one of the things that the unidentified anomalous phenomena people want to know is what the government has collected from belief that these things crashed. There was crash retrieval and that we have some sort of evidence. Is there anything in this batch of released files that would answer that question?
There's nothing in this batch, but we've been told that this is about to become a regular thing because there are hundreds of documents and dozens of pieces of media, videos and photos that are contained on this drive that has just been uploaded to the new website, which is war.gov/UFO. There is nothing like that in this batch, but they are going through and they are working to declassify whatever they can because President Trump told them to. And this is different than when he ordered the Kennedy files to be unclassified and just put everything out all at once. It was millions of pages, a huge file. This is going to come out bit by bit as they work through. And you'll look, we've got some stuff from Apollo 17. We've got some stuff from a couple months ago. There's a ton of material, but they want us to know that they are trying to figure this out. They just don't have an answer about whether or not, about what these crafts are.
All right, so that is the first video. Now, if you know Michio Kaku is a popular physicist, and he specializes in things like this. Theoretical physicist Michio Kaku just told Jesse Waters the UFO files dropped by Trump have changed everything. All right, he says this is a turning point. Decades of government cover-ups are collapsing right now. Now, you know that there were decades where they called anyone who talked about UFOs a conspiracy theorist or a kook. Now, suddenly, it's like, okay, it's mainstream now. So let's listen to what he says.
Dr. Michio Kaku is a theoretical physicist. Doctor, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about this UFO release?
I would put it at a 10 because we're at a turning point. For decades, we had to rely upon eyewitness accounts of housewives, truck drivers. People would snicker and laugh at them. Now we're talking about huge files that are top secret that for the first time in modern history are being given to the American public. So I'd like to congratulate President Trump for having the nerve to go against recommendations by the FBI and the CIA to release these files so that independent researchers, scientists can go over them and we can make up our own minds rather than having the CIA make up our minds.
And the CIA apparently is still fighting the full release. When you hear or see about a UFO that goes like that, up, down, left, right, at 90-degree angles so fast you can't even believe it.
It's
What does
crazy.
that tell you?
It tells me that the laws of centrifugal force should crush the bones of the people inside the flying saucer. So either there is basically an automated flying saucer, so there are no bones to crack as the thing goes zigzagging left and right, or it represents a very high level of intelligence to create something like that. So in other words, we humans cannot get into a spaceship that goes zigzagging like that. Only aliens can, but even their bones would break. So it must be a very high level of automated computer technology.
All right, so I have a hidden chat. Okay, he says, Intergalactic Wrangler says, I told you so, because he mentioned that something like this was going to happen a few live streams ago. This is crazy. Okay, so guys, I know it's Friday and most of us are probably chilling and trying to relax, but it's crazy that we're talking about unidentified flying objects today. Okay, I thought we'll be talking about something else that was essentially politics or related to the gerrymandering that we've been covering over the week. Now, President Trump, on the historic UFO files released by the Department of War, he said, with these new documents and videos, the people can decide for themselves what the hell is going on. So let's listen to the man himself.
First on the topic of space, do you have an update on the UFO files and when we're going to be seeing those?
Well, I think we're going to be releasing as much as we can in the near future. For some reason, and I guess it's just a reason that's been in the minds of people for a long time, that is such, they want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material, and we're going to be releasing a lot of things from that we have. And I think some of it's going to be very interesting to people. I've interviewed people, the first term primarily, but I interviewed some pilots, very solid people, and they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe. So you're going to be reading about it. Yeah.
So a lot of people are going to
Fox News alert the Trump administration.
There's going to be many people that are going to start creating content. We told you so. And they're going to have lots of theories. Sorry about that. I'm still having some of these videos autoplay. Now I have a video here. There's a lady that I caught on one of the screens. Just give me a second. Yeah, there she is. Now there's this lady over here, and here she says, the more I look into this, the more I see what was told to us there of fallen angels. Sorry, I hope I'm not reading this wrong. The more I look into this, the more I see what was told to us there of fallen angels. Now, I believe this UFOs could be an aspect of the Nephilim. So let's listen to this. Now, remember what I said earlier. Excuse me. Remember what I said earlier. I said that we're going to stay on this topic as long as the chat allows. If the chat isn't interested and is silent, then I'm just going to skip on over to the Virginia reversal by the Supreme Court and the fallout. But I think this is interesting because I think this is on brand with where we are right now in the world, where the things that we were told were conspiracies. The things that we were told were the product of unhinged thinkers. Right now, we're being told that, okay, they were actually right. Okay, remember the pandemic? Remember the 2020 elections? Remember all the hoaxes, all the Trump hoaxes, even January 6th. Look, I'm waiting for the January 6th situation to be unpacked. And I hope the DOJ is working hard on unpacking that because, in my opinion, that is probably the single most damaging accusation that the left has against conservatives or Republicans. And once that is taken away, it essentially would defang them because, well, but you know what? I'm just being optimistic that it would defang them. I believed that Trump getting elected would cause some people to come to their senses, but clearly it did not. So let's listen to this individual and let me know if the audio is coming through okay. All right, so I was just told that there's no volume. Hold on, I'm going to stop sharing and start sharing again. The tech is weird sometimes. Sorry about that. Let me do that again and start the video over. Thank you so much, Gardening.
To say, well, how can we be the only ones? Like, God's not going to
Hope
stop
it's working now.
creating just with us. But the more I look into this, the more I see the Old Testament and what was told to us there of fallen angels and Nephilim. I mean, this is in the Bible. There's nothing that says that fallen angels, that Nephilim just disappeared. And so I believe that this could be an aspect of it. You know, there are things that we have seen that could resemble portals. And, you know, I mean, we serve an infinite God, a God of the universe. And to say that this is the only realm is ignorant. And so what I've seen, I wouldn't, you know, put it as, you know, Marvin the Martian kind of thing. But I do believe that this is more spiritual. And if you really want to go there, demonic. So it's.
Yeah. So if you guys will permit me, and I should have prepared this earlier. Okay, because whenever people start talking about the Bible and try to connect the Bible to UFO sightings and the conversations around that arena, there are people who are by default going to roll their eyes and say, well, that is you guys trying to pigeonhole every single thing into the Bible. Yes, I'm surprised that Lauren Bobet is talking about the Bible and Nephilim. I'm surprised. She's been a naughty girl. Okay, so I'm wondering about that too, gardening. So I want to show you a scripture, okay, from the Old Testament. And I want to just put it on the screen so you can see where those of us who talk about this and tie it to what we read in the Bible, you can see where we're coming from. Okay. Okay, sorry, hold on. I'm trying to get the exact scripture. Okay, let's see. All right, let me open this. And so this is David, and I just want to open it and let's see. I want to get the exact spot. I'm looking through the Bible, so I'm going to show it on the screen and give you the scripture, and you guys can go back. Like it's going to start you off. It's going to start you off on a journey on figuring out. Okay, so some of the stuff we see in the Bible. Let's see, standing between. So I am trying to get the exact reference in an easy to read translation, and the translation that I think in whenever I think of scriptures is the King James translation. So I'm trying to get it in a translation that works. Okay. All right. So that is Okay, good. I'm going to just zoom in. So, First Chronicles 21:16. I'm going to share the screen. First Chronicles 21:16, and guys, so um so this is the scripture, First Chronicles 21:16, and I'm going to read. Okay, so there are several translations on the screen right now. There's there's the New International Version, and then there's the New Living Translation. We're talking about UFOs and unidentified flying objects. So, David looked up and saw the angel of the Lord standing between heaven and earth. What does that mean? This being was levitating in midair, okay, with a drawn sword in his hand extended over Jerusalem. Then David and the elders, clothed in sackcloth, fell face down. Another translation, the New Living Translation says, same thing, standing between heaven and earth. That's what they use in all of the translations. Now, so the backstory is that David had sinned in carrying out a census, and there was a plague. And to stop the plague, God opened the eyes of David to see the angel that was causing the plague, and he saw this being standing between heaven and earth. And I think it was not just David that saw the angel, but also all the elders of Israel saw this being. Routinely in the Old Testament, beings would show up to give messages from God and so on. So it wasn't out of place for them to see these beings of great power and ability. So I just wanted to quickly show you that. I don't want to dwell too much on that, but to hear Lauren Boebert talk about the Bible that way, and bring a lot of focus on what we're seeing with the reports from the files that have been released by the White House and everything that's going on around it. It's interesting how you're going to start hearing more about how these tie to scriptures, but I'm not a fan of people just going whole hog and saying everything is connected to the Bible. There has to be a scientific method to it, and I believe so much that a lot of these sightings are supernatural beings. But we have to patiently. Sorry, I'm trying to locate the. Oh, there it is. I'm trying to patiently. I'm sorry. I was trying to get back to the video that we watched, and I kind of got turned around. Okay, there it is. So I'm trying to patiently look into these things and have real conversations about them. Okay. Now, there's this video. There's this video that Michio Kaku was referring to. I'm going to just open this up and we'll look at it, okay? And he talked about how the movements in these crafts could literally physically twist anyone who's within the craft. If you have a craft moving so fast, and they change that direction in midair at those sharp angles, it could literally break every bone in your body by just maneuvering in that way. So these are not normal craft. And even if there was a being inside the craft, it's either the beings are built so robustly that they can withstand these high G twists and turns in midair, or the technology is so advanced that there's a show that I enjoy so much, and some of you know about this show, Stargate SG-1. And in that show, they talked about a certain kind of technology called inertia dampening. Essentially, it creates a cocoon that prevents the effect of velocities, high G velocities, from affecting the people within the craft. So that technology currently, I don't think it exists, but this just kind of reminds me of that show. So there's a lot of conversation that's going to be coming in, and I'm very sure that by this weekend, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm very sure that by this weekend, there'll be a bunch of people jumping out on social media saying Trump released these videos to distract from the Iran war. It's going to, let's just watch for it. And if it happens, tell me I was right. Or if it doesn't happen, tell me that I was wrong. All right, guys. Now, if you're watching on the main channel, all right, you're going to be transitioned automatically to the live stream channel. We're switching over broadcasting to the live stream channel, and then we will slip over into the situation that's developing in Virginia. The Supreme Court just essentially scrubbed the Virginia map that was gerrymandered along racial lines. And we're going to look at that story, and we're going to look at the protests that are coming. We're going to see protests. We're going to see a lot of narratives shifting. And just stay on the channel. You're going to be transitioned smoothly over to the live stream channel. And we'll just continue with the story. Now, remember, you can leave your comments, and we will read every comment. Okay, so you're being transitioned now. Okay, so as always, I have to explain that the main channel is a channel for shorter content, and the YouTube algorithm sometimes can be very unforgiving. When something changes with the channel, it tends to crash the analytics of the channel, and things just begin to go differently. So I try to protect the main channel, but the main channel has more of a reach whenever we go live. Right, so let's switch over to the Virginia, the situation with the Supreme Court in Virginia. Now, let's find this opening. So we have an opening story here. So again, your comments in the chat will be greatly appreciated. So Associated Press says, breaking news: the Virginia Supreme Court strikes down voter approved. Voter approved. Look, leftist outlets are just so predictable. Voter approved. They said nothing about the fact that this was illegal. Okay, they said nothing about the fact that it was illegal. Okay, so everyone voted for it. So let me get this straight. If everyone in Virginia votes that now it's okay for you to run over anybody you see on the street, and you can't be charged for murder, does that make it right? Voters can't randomly vote for things that are illegal. According to the Virginia law, it is wrong to gerrymander along racial lines, which is what they did. And there were a few things that they did to essentially disqualify the so-called citizen voted map redistricting. Virginia Supreme Court upholds the rule of law and the Commonwealth Constitution and rebukes Louise Lucas's power grab. That was essentially what happened. Another win over the communists. Gardening says they knew it was illegal, but still wasted millions of dollars trying it. Yes, because here's the thing. Democrats have always had the Republicans and the conservatives afraid of them, afraid of the optics of the protests and the harsh language used whenever they get a pushback from the conservatives. The Democrats would freak out, start calling what they've done racist and so on. But I think right now conservatives have had enough of that, and they've developed thick skin against the accusations that they would normally throw at them. Now, CNN, I'm gonna play this video. CNN says now CNN had to admit it that Obama and Hakeem Jeffries are essentially toast. Okay. Virginia Democrats, CNN said, were trying to get 4 additional seats. This is a big blow to Hakeem Jeffries. They spent $38 million trying to do this. Okay, so let's just listen to this and we'll keep going. Let me know if the audio.
Exactly what happened. I've been explaining with folks.
Let me know if the audio is good as usual, please.
And that's exactly what happened. I've been texting with folks, and they're saying, these are folks at the D-Trip saying, yes, this is a setback, but they feel like, they were trying to get 4 additional seats. Probably 2 of those they probably can get, particular if it's a wave.
Because it could be a bad year.
It could be a bad year. But listen,
No, it's going to be a bad year. It's going to be a bad year because without those gerrymandered Democrat districts, they're going to lose seats.
This is a big blow. Hakeem Jeffries, I basically wrote a column that was like, this was great for Hakeem Jeffries because he was all in on it. $38 million spent from a group affiliated with him. Obama was in on this. And now
Obama, who recently has changed his tune about gerrymandering, was in on it. He was supportive of Virginia gerrymandering new districts along racial lines. You see the hypocrisy that we keep talking about. We keep pointing this out, and whenever it's being referenced and these names are called, the mainstream media softens their coverage of it, like, okay, well, they were in on it, but they don't sound like it is something wrong. They don't frame it like they were doing something wrong. But when Texas is doing it, they start framing it like, oh, it's so illegal and it's so racist for them to, gerrymander their states to the disadvantage of Democrats because they don't do it along racial lines. That's the way they sound.
This is a big defeat, and one of the reasons why Virginia was so important as well, because Democrats were anticipating this Supreme Court decision, and that's exactly what happened. I've been texting with folks. All
right, so that is CNN covering it, and you can see the somber atmosphere in the studio. Okay, I'm going to behave. MS Now, but I like calling them TDSBC. The MS Now panel sounds depressed after the Supreme Court struck it down. I think I have the video of when it was announced that they were gerrymandering and redrawing these districts. They looked so pleased with themselves, and now they all look so depressed.
Alan, walk us through this ruling. Why did the court ultimately strike it down?
So the Supreme Court here, the Virginia State Supreme Court, is striking this map down on procedural grounds. They're saying that the mechanism that the state legislators used to call the special session to actually draw this map was invalid under state's constitution. So it was illegal. I don't know. They use these words, but it's actually that it was illegal. Now, of course, this session was called by the state Speaker of the House. But in Virginia, in order to call a special legislative session like the one that was used to create this map, either the governor needs to call it or a 2/3 majority of both houses of the state legislature need to call that session. So this Supreme Court is upholding a lower state court's ruling saying that mechanism for the state speaker to call this special legislative session was invalid. And so therefore, the map that they produced during this legislative session was invalid. All right. So there's more news about how invalid it is. So here's a comment by Gavin Newsom. It's rich how Democrats frame their losses like democracy is over simply because they lost. Okay. Gavin Newsom says MAGA has rigged the system. He says no votes in Tennessee.
because the Republicans gained 1 seat in Tennessee, no vote in Florida because Florida gained 4 seats. So the Republicans gained 4 seats in Florida. No vote in Missouri because the Republicans gained 1 seat because they reversed the racist maps that were drawn. Okay, Democrats are freaking out because their racist maps were reversed. Of course, Gavin Newsom said that he's crazy. Everyone knows he's crazy. The emperor has no clothes, but mainstream media tells him that he's wearing a nice tuxedo. Missouri, of course, Republicans gained 1 seat in Missouri. North Carolina, they gained 2 seats in North Carolina. Texas, they're projected to gain 5 seats in Texas. These are electoral. Oh, geez. Look, if everything we're seeing on paper pans out during the midterms, the Democrats are cooked. They are so cooked. Okay. Now, I was listening to Victor David Hansen, I think it was yesterday, and he talked about a study that was done that essentially simulated a scenario where both Republicans and Democrats gerrymandered to their heart's content. And what he said was the outcome would be that the Republicans would have over 220 or 250 seats total in Congress, and Democrats would end up with 110, something low, and that would be it. And you know what? One part of me said yes, but that part of me, a second part of me that has more common sense says no, because when you have a uni party that has all the power, eventually everyone who's looking for power will turn coat and then switch over to the party with power, and over time that party will look exactly like the weaker party that lost. That's what would happen. So in, say, 20 or 50 years, the Republican Party would look exactly like the Democrat Party. So the founding fathers knew what they were doing, and I don't think, as much as we would like the Republicans to have the upper hand, the rule of law, the Constitution, the way the Electoral College was designed by the founding fathers has to be upheld. Okay. Gavin Newsom says Virginia's voter approved maps thrown out. They keep using these outlandish terms. Voter approved. Was it legal? Was it constitutional? Voters can't be allowed to vote against the Constitution unless they want to vote to change the Constitution. There is a process to that. Patricia told me how that works, and the process is so grueling that it would never happen. It would never happen. So Gavin Newsom is saying, yeah, the Constitution kept the voters from having their way, and that's why we're saying that MAGA rigged the system. That is so stupid. That is stupid. Okay, well, let's play the video.
This could have big implications for other states and clearly for the midterms. And there's a reaction now for Republicans in Virginia saying the following. We respect the decision of the Supreme Court of Virginia. I'm proud Virginians came out in historic numbers. It made their voices heard and sent a message not just here at home, but across the country to Donald Trump and his administration. That's the reaction from the Democrats. The problem
How'd they get that?
Yeah, for Democrats.
How'd they get that out of
they've been shut out of the program here because they thought they were going to pick up several seats. Republicans are saying the Supreme Court today affirms what we all know. You cannot violate the Constitution to change the Constitution, which
I don't know what the founding fathers were smoking. Okay, and I'm saying this lightheartedly, but the design of the way the legal system, the Constitution, the separation of powers that they designed over 250 years ago is a stroke of divine inspiration. Because even after 250 years, the thing that they set up is still holding the union together strong and keeping these people who want to destroy it at bay. Let's see. I'm reading the chat. Gardening says, could everyone please take a second to click that like button and subscribe? I just had to read it out. And Gardening also says, who cares about the Constitution when you're a Democrat? That's the thing. They only care about the Constitution when it restricts the Republicans from doing what they need to do. And then they don't care about the Constitution when they run roughshod over the Constitution. I want to recommend a podcast to you guys. So if you don't know Nick Freitas, he has a podcast called Making the Argument. Okay, he's not a sponsor of the show. I listen to him, and he used to serve in the House in Virginia, and I listen to how the politics in Virginia is played, and I am horrified. And he essentially gives great information about how stuff works in Virginia. So if you want, you can go over to his podcast and listen to his breakdown on some of these issues. Now, the meltdown kicks in, and you have the usual suspects. Hassan Piker, I mentioned him yesterday, and he's back in the news again. Marxist influencer Hassan Piker is facing calls to be visited by the FBI after he appeared to urge violent revolution at the Virginia Supreme Court, striking down the illegal 10D 1R house map. Okay? This is trash. He wants the downfall of our society. Those who make peace. Now, this is what he said. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. These people are terrorists. Okay, he may look like a soy boy. It's always weak people that use violence. This guy looks like a soy boy. He can't fight. He can't do anything to defend himself, but he wants everyone else to hit the streets and to start protests and to be violent against the Supreme Court. So let's listen to this report.
From the Commonwealth of Virginia, this could have big implications for other states and clearly for the midterms. And there's a reaction now of Republicans in Virginia saying the following: we respect the decision of the Supreme Court of Virginia. I'm proud Virginia.
All right, so that's the same video we just heard, but it's overlaid by the tweet that Hassan Piker made. So it's overlaid on the screen, and I read most of it already. So you have people like this already making their thoughts known and encouraging violence against the Supreme Court of Virginia. It's like what happened when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and threats began to fly at the Supreme Court. Like, these are terrorists, okay? A terrorist is someone who uses terror to bend policy in their favor. Okay, that's why the RRGC are terrorists. They want violence, okay, or let's say they use violence to get their objectives carried out. Okay, so here's another comment by a leftist. Okay, so Republican states can gerrymander without the input of the people. No, there are laws for it, guys. According to this person, the gerrymandering happening in Republican states is done without the input of the people. That's not true. The people voted for representatives. Those representatives carried out the will of the people. So this is just another conflation. But democratic, yeah, they like using that. It's Democrat, okay? Democrat states can't gerrymander even if it's directly voted on by the people, because that's not how the process works. Got it. Republicans are literally begging for violence. See? Look, these people speak to low information voters. They're trying to push for violence. They are stoking it. They're calling for it. And when the FBI goes to visit this guy, guess what he's going to say? He's going to say, it's my free speech right to say these things. I'm reacting to what I heard in the news. And that will be it. Okay. So we're going to have more and more of these kinds of comments. Here you have another comment. Okay. Matthew Iglesias says, don't know what the mechanisms are, but these Virginia judges need to go. And then another leftist says, absolutely. They don't like it when the rule of law is carried out. They don't like it when due process is carried out. Only when something that they don't like happens do they remember, okay, hey, this isn't what we want. And then they begin to freak out. So I'm suspecting that we're going to start seeing protests in Virginia. We're going to start hearing rhetoric ramping up. There's lots of people melting down. There's Jim Acosta says Trump gets to redraw maps. Like it's the usual suspects, okay? And none of these guys is saying what the Supreme Court ruled. It says Trump gets to redraw maps. Trump didn't redraw any maps. It was the House and Senate of those states that redrew the maps in Texas and in Florida. Trump had nothing to do with those things except that he approved. Trump gets to redraw maps in his states, but the Democrats cannot do the same. What is happening to our democracy? Well, that is the meltdown on full display. All right, so guys, let me know your thoughts in the chat. I'm about to get crazy out there. Always is around summertime and midterms. We have to keep the people divided. Look, the midterms. Let me talk about summer. These people don't protest during the winter. They don't protest during the winter. They only protest when the weather is good. And why is that? Because most of them are paid. They are paid protesters. Okay, so here's this guy. Okay, now let's listen to him. The Post reads, this guy appears to be threatening the Supreme Court justices. Okay, but let's listen to this and you let me know in the chat if that's what he's doing.
I'm sure it can be that difficult to find the address of the Supreme Court justices in Virginia. Anyway, y'all should start protesting in their front fucking yards. That's the only way you'll ever get these fucking pieces of shit to listen. Go make them uncomfortable as shit.
It's called terrorism. Okay? That's called terrorism. Okay? So we're going to start seeing more of this, and we should not be surprised. Well, I hope the FBI gives this guy a call. Hopefully we will see an update, because these calls for violence, and then here's another woman. The Democrats are not coping well with Virginia's illegal maps being shut down by the Supreme Court. And here's this woman screaming outside the building. Go and read the laws. Oh, volume is off. Sorry about that. All right. I'm going to play that again. I'm sorry, guys. Soon and very soon, I'll get a new computer. Okay. Hope the video is up. So let me know if this is playing.
Shame! Shame on every single Supreme Court justice who voted to take away our rights as a people to express. Shame for taking away our ability to tell our state what we want for other states to tell the people of the nation are doing it without our
Make asylums great again. So she's screaming shame to the Supreme Court for taking away our right as a people to determine, the whatever. Now, the Constitution gave you rights, but the Constitution limited those rights and said you can't wake up tomorrow and you all decide that since we outnumber everyone else, we can decide to vote to gerrymander our states to our heart's content. That is the version of democracy they want. They want to be able to oppress the minorities in their states, to outvote them. The Constitution of Virginia says you can't do that. And that's what they attempted to do. She's hurt, or they're all hurt, that they essentially went against the Constitution and lost, because the Constitution, the job of the Supreme Court is to interpret and rule based on the Constitution. That's the job of the Supreme Court. And they don't like it. So I am flabbergasted, guys, that we have people like this living among us. I'm just shocked. Okay, so we have good news. Okay, so while that drama was happening in Virginia, Alabama just voted to advance legislation which would result in eliminating one Democrat seat and potentially both Democrat seats. So on the left, that is the Democrat gerrymandered map. On the right is the corrected map if they go about their plans to change things to be done in a more fair manner. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. So potentially, Alabama might have two Republican seats as a result of that turnaround. Things are looking good, but I would say that anyone who is voting Republican during the midterms should still head out there and vote Republican. Okay, don't fold your arms and say, well, we're winning, therefore we don't have to do anything. No, I don't agree. We all have to do our part. Okay, so let's cover this story very quickly. All right, now this is a story that showed up on my feed, and I won't lie, I was excited about it. Let me read it out. ABC accuses the FCC of violating its First Amendment rights over the scrutiny of The View. Now, anyone who doesn't understand why the FCC has a say in how the ABC runs their shows, especially when the shows are overwhelmingly partisan, they don't understand the foundation of it. ABC got a public license awarded to it almost how many 80 years ago, 60 to 90 years ago. And the public airwaves belong to the American people. It was given to the ABC to operate for free as long as they abide by certain rules. One rule is equal time. I hope I'm saying it right. The idea of equal time is this: if you're going to give 10 minutes to a candidate from one political party, and if the other side says, okay, we also want equal time, you're obligated to give the other side 10 minutes as well to appear on a primetime show. If you are going to talk about one party one way, you should also do the same to the other party. You shouldn't be partisan. That is part of the arrangement of this deal. And it hasn't been enforced in years. That is why shows like The View that run on ABC have been getting away with all of the outrageous things they've been saying about President Trump and Republicans. Now, Here's the story. On Thursday, Disney-owned ABC filed a petition with the Federal Communications Commission challenging an investigation into daytime talk show The View, arguing the agency's actions are unprecedented and infringe on First Amendment protected speech. First of all, it's unprecedented because the FCC either never had to do this, or the people there were okay with ABC promoting shows that were highly partisan. That's why it's unprecedented. Earlier this year, the FCC, led by Chairman Brendan Carr, initiated enforcement proceedings, and that's a key word: enforcement. These rules were never enforced. Now that they're being enforced, the smart, very expensive lawyers at Disney are saying it's unprecedented. It's all to win public sentiment, to swing or to sway public sentiment in their favor. Brendan Carr initiated enforcement proceedings questioning whether the show qualifies for a bona fide news exemption following the February appearance of Democratic Senate candidate James Talarico from Texas. That's when it started, and I covered it on one of my videos on the main channel. ABC's filings, signed by Supreme Court litigator Paul Clement, asserts the show has operated under an exemption for 24 years and disputes incomplete cooperation claims, citing submission of 11,000 documents on schedule. Separately, the FCC's Media Bureau last week ordered ABC to accelerate license renewals amid clashes over late night host Jimmy Kimmel's jokes with Chairman Carr, stating Disney must demonstrate it operates in the public interest. Ann Gomez, the lone Democrat appointee on the three-person FCC panel, praised Disney for choosing courage over capitulation. Nothing mentioned about the rules they're meant to operate under. Nothing. It's all about optics, emphasizing broader implications for how government regulates political expression. Nothing said about the fact that ABC has a license, and the terms of that license are such and such. Nothing about that. So when a leftist tells you the sky is blue, step outside and take a look. Don't believe them. I'm sorry. That is who they have introduced themselves to us as, and that's what we're going to be taking them as. So I got this from Ground News. Okay, I use Ground News, though they are not a sponsor. I'm just letting you know what I use. And whenever I take a look at stories on Ground News, I try to look at the stories that are center. Okay, they aren't left leaning or right leaning, so I can just get the facts. And these are the facts that have been expressed here. But what we do know is that ABC has routinely allowed the primetime shows to be partisan, to go after political opponents of their side, and they haven't said anything about it. The FCC has never corrected them or enforced the rules of the licensing agreement. And now that it's being enforced, they are screaming and whining and belly aching about it. Okay, so it's crazy that we're having to go through this and see people lie to our faces, but it's glorious when, in the end, just like we saw in Virginia, we see the laws that predated these people getting enforced. The law in Virginia is possibly over 100 years old, and it's been in force for that long. And the people who have been so misled by the Democrats were told, you guys can simply show up and vote to say you want new congressional districts. created along racial lines, and everything will be okay. Barack Obama showed up with his thick black eyebrows and said, "You guys are doing a great job." And then Hakeem Jeffries showed up saying that anyone who wants to come after them or block this will f around and find out. And they spent over $38 million trying to make this happen, and they face planted. And now we're going to see them throw tantrums all over the place. So everyone brace yourselves. Brace yourselves for when people who vote left and hate Trump start telling you how what happened in Virginia and what's about to happen in Alabama are all Jim Crow and racist, and it shows that Trump is the Antichrist. They're going to say all of those things. Just brace yourself. It's coming. And when they attack you, simply point in their faces and laugh, because they don't know what they're talking about, or they are just being dishonest. They're just being dishonest. They refuse to respect the rule of law. They want everyone else to cower whenever they show up waving their arms aggressively, claiming that some fictitious agreement or rule or policy has been violated. No, they are the ones who constantly violate the Constitution. And now that they are being slapped down, they should just shut up, go home, and learn how to read. That's basically what you should tell them. Personally, I think we have some good news. We're ending the week with some good news. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's Friday. Most of us are just tired from a very busy week. But you know what? It's been a good week. We've seen some news that has been very disturbing. We've also seen news that has been encouraging. And we're meeting each other online. We're getting to learn more about what's going on in the world. And do you know what? It's going to be good. It's going to be good. All right. So, as always, God bless you. Continue to trust God. Pray for your country. Hold on to your loved ones. Tell your parents you love them. Tell your kids you love them. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Okay, this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, share this video. Consider posting a comment even after the fact. If you're watching this after the live stream has ended, consider just posting a comment and letting us know what you think. If you have topic ideas, let's say something happens and we're going to go live in the evening, and you think we should look at a certain story, send us that idea in the to the email that's on the screen right now. I would love to be able to get emails of that sort and take a look at these stories along with you. Like I said at the beginning of this live stream, you guys drive the stories. And if you don't bring any energy to any story, it's a boring live stream. I don't like the idea of just sitting and talking, and none of you are responding. So I love it when you give me feedback, and even pushback is good. So I would love to see you guys send me ideas for stories. If there's a breaking story that comes out and you're like, hey, this story just broke, can we talk about it tonight? I would love to just jump on those and have conversations in the live chat. So I'm praying for all of you. Every day I pray, I remember you guys, and I pray for you. And I'm trusting God that things will work out in your lives. Send me your thoughts on the UFO story and my comments made about the Bible references that have been made about UFOs. We talked about stuff like this earlier in the year. Maybe if you guys want to talk more about this, send me an email, and then maybe we will consider having a conversation around this, because I don't think this is going away. For better or for worse, it's not going away. All right, guys. It's been a great week. We will not be live streaming tomorrow, but we will live stream on Sunday night. So tomorrow is my day of rest. My wife says I should pick a day, and I picked Saturday nights. So I will not be streaming tomorrow night. I'll be back on Sunday night. So I hope to see you then. Until then, God bless you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, sorry, before I go, thank you, Gardening, for the mod work you're doing as a moderator. You've been great. And thank you everyone else for joining. I just forgot I needed to do that. I said I was going to do that. Every live stream, I'm going to thank the moderators who help keep the live chat going. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. All right. Now, this is for real. Good night. Bye-bye.